I offer my obeisances time and again unto Sri Guru, Sri Gaurachandra, Srimati Radhika, her associates, and her holy abode Sri Vrindavan Dham, and unto Sri Krishna, his associates, and the devotees of his devotees, asking for their blessings that we may comprehend the subject matter at hand in all its depths and realize the import. So, we are here in part 2 of Light Casts No Shadows by Armin Risi. I will give maybe here and there a little bit of a purport. So we had the introduction, and now we're coming to the symbolism of light and shadows. So in our world of experience, light and shadow are perfect symbols that can help us to understand what is reality and what is not reality. Light has its own existence which is independent from shadows and symbolizes reality, whereas shadows symbolize relativity. Light symbolizes the absolute, the real, the spiritual, the unity. Shadows, the relative, the non-real, the material, the duality. Only there where something is against the light or dividing from the light, shadows emerge. Light itself does not cast shadows. According to many mystery traditions and revelation lines, nowadays we live in an age of darkness. The Indian sources talk about kali-yuga, an age or a millennium yuga of separation. Sanskrit word kali comes from the word kal, which means to divide in opposing groups, dividing. And it also means to persecute. So this word should not be confused with the name of the famous Indian goddess Kali, because that word is derived from the Sanskrit word kala, which means time. Kali is the personification of time. Kali, with short I and A, is the personification of dividing and separating forces. For the later, in our Western languages, we have a very precise word for that, and that is diabolic. That's the word, Kali. This word derives from the Greek and is combined of dia, which means estranging or opposing, and a second word which is called balein, which means to throw. So the diabolic is that which is dividing the people and makes them into enemies, and is in that sense a synonym for Kali. Following that train of thought, we are now living in an age where diabolism the diabolism is predominant. And a view into the world of today shows that the ancient sources were not wrong when they predicted and called our age the age of darkness. That means that at this time we are still living in an age of segregation, separation, etc. The diabolic, the symbolistic darkness is predominant. We are warned, therefore, that that which is predominating now and is most widely propagated could actually stem from darkness, be it in politics, be it in economy, in finance, in science, investigation, and even in religion and esoterics. That doesn't mean that everything that is predominant is coming or is inspired from the dark forces, because where there is shadow, there is also light. We are asked or urged to learn to distinguish. From a philosophical point of view, the ideologies of the age of darkness have sprung from a common characteristicum. They have something in common, so to say. They all, more or less, want to define light or reality from the perspective of darkness or relativity. But that cannot be possible, because light is not the same as shadows. Light is also not the sum total of all shadows, and not the opposite of shadows, and not even the absence of shadows. These are 4 propositions that we will examine in this article. So, the different worldviews can be compared to steps on a ladder or a staircase, which has many different steps. And every step has a certain characteristic. And that is that we can use it for stepping up or stepping down. So every worldview can be lived as facing or turning towards God or turning away from God. In the beginning, both directions may seem very similar because they start from the same proposition or assumptions, but an investigation into their consequences will show that they are diametrically opposed. So this has been like introduction part 2, and I'm looking forward to your questions, comments, your likes and your shares for the benefit of all. And we will see each other again in part 3, where we begin our discussion of the prominent paradigms. There we will talk about materialism. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.